The forest was alive with whispers, the leaves swaying in a rhythm only the oldest of creatures could understand. Deep in the heart of Doriath, where sunlight wove through the towering trees like golden threads, a presence loomed, silent, powerful, eternal. King Thingol, the hidden king, sat upon his throne of carved stone, his gaze as unyielding as the rock itself. His silver hair shimmered like moonlight, his robes flowing like the rivers of his vast kingdom. To see him was to witness both majesty and danger, for he was not merely a ruler, he was a force bound to the land, unbroken by time or war. Thingol was not always hidden. Once, he wandered freely through the wide lands of Middle-earth, his name then Elwi, a lord among the Teleri. With every step he took, the world seemed to bend and bloom in his presence. But it was under the stars of ancient Beleriand that his fate changed forever. One night, as he walked through the shadowed woods, a song unlike any he had ever heard drifted through the air. It was not a mortal song, nor one born of the Elves. It was something greater, something eternal. In the clearing, he saw her, Melian, a Maya of the Vala, standing as though she were part of the earth itself. Her beauty was beyond words, her voice a melody that echoed in the soul. When their eyes met, time itself seemed to falter, caught in the endless dance of their gaze. Elwi stood frozen, his heart bound in an instant. Days turned into years, the world outside their enchantment fading into nothingness. When at last he emerged, he was no longer the Elwi his people knew. He was Thingol now, a king crowned not just by lineage but by destiny. And by his side stood Melian, whose wisdom and power would shape his reign. Thingol's love for Melian was deep, but it came with a price. The girdle of enchantment she wove around Doriath was a blessing and a barrier. No enemy could enter unbidden, yet no ally could freely pass. His kingdom, a sanctuary of peace, became a fortress of isolation. The forest protected him, but it also veiled him. Over time, Thingol's rule grew heavier, his decisions sharper, his gaze colder. The weight of his love for his people, his land, and his queen became chains, binding him to choices that would ripple through the ages. In his halls of Menegroth, the thousand caves, Thingol ruled with wisdom but also with pride. The halls gleamed with the light of treasures unmatched, crafted by the skilled hands of the dwarves. The beauty of his realm was a reflection of his heart, rich, untamed, fiercely guarded. Yet even the strongest walls could not keep out the shadows of the world. When the sons of Fëanor came, bearing tales of woe and oaths sworn in fire, Thingol was wary. He was no fool, he saw the hunger in their eyes, the flames that lingered in their words. Yet he offered them shelter, his heart softened by their grief. It was a choice born of compassion but marked by suspicion. Thingol's pride, his belief in the sanctity of his realm, clashed with the ambitions of others. And when the Silmaril came into his life, its light dazzling, its story one of blood and betrayal, his fate was sealed. Thingol did not seek the Silmaril, it came to him through the love of his daughter, Luthien, and the mortal Burren. Their tale was one of defiance and triumph, yet it brought a shadow into his kingdom. Thingol, in his pride, demanded the jewel as a bride price, not knowing the chain of events it would set into motion. When it was brought to him, he saw in it not just beauty but power, an object that could rival even the light of Melian. He coveted it, though he would never admit as much. The dwarves, who had once been his allies, crafted a necklace to hold the Silmaril. But the greed awakened by the jewel's presence twisted their hearts. They turned against him, spilling his blood in his own halls. Thingol's death was sudden, brutal, a stark reminder of the fragility even kings must face. Yet his legacy did not end there. The forest mourned him, the trees whispering his name long after his voice was silenced. Melian, broken by his loss, withdrew from Middle-earth, her power fading from the land. The girdle of Doriath fell, and the once hidden kingdom was left vulnerable. Thingol's pride, his love, his choices, they all left marks that could not be erased.